You know, with me being a big moviegoer and love going to the theater, I thought me viewing this at home would take my experience. But I'm happy to say that's not the case. But let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my movie review for Wonder Woman 1984. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me that thumbs up and consider subscribing. So some of my favorite films out there are martial arts films and comic book adaptations. So with this film right here, I was going in with very high expectations. Now this is being directed by Miss Patty Jenkins, who also directed the first Wonder Woman that came out in 2017. And I have it right here on 4K, and this is actually one of my favorite in the DC cinematic universe. And with my high expectations, I'm proud to say that I really enjoyed the film. But before I get into all the good details, let me tell you what this thing is actually about. Rewind to the 1980s as Wonder Woman's next big screen adventure finds her facing two all-new foes, Maxwell Lord and the Cheetah. Now, starting off with just the things that I loved about this film was the very beginning that the studio did release to the general public that you can view right now online, and that is just more world building with Thematic going back in time, showing Diana Prince as a young one coming up with the rest of the Amazonians. I loved it. I thought it was very clever. I liked the action. I love everything about that world, and some of the old characters from the first film were able to come back, and I really did appreciate what they was able to offer us on screen. Now, just to let you know, this is going to be a non-spoilery review for Wonder Woman 1984. However, I am going to spoil the first film, Wonder Woman. So if you haven't seen that film and you don't want to be spoiled for the first film, I'm pretty sure you have seen it. But if you haven't, I strongly suggest you turn this video off now and go watch that and then come back later. And before I get into all the details of Maxwell Lord and Cheetah, who are the villains of this film, I want to talk about Chris Pine's role, who plays Steve Trevor. When the marketing of this film ramped up with all the promotional material, one of the things that plagued my mind and just had me scratching my head was like, okay, how in the world are they going to do this? Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor, died in the first film. He blew up in the plane. Not only did he die from an explosion, but even if he survived that, he would have plummeted to his death. So how in the world is he able to come back in this sequel, even if it's going back in time in 1984, with the first film even taking place in World War I? And I'll just go ahead and say, guys, right, they knocked that out of the park. I thought it was very creative. I love the idea that they came up with, and when it revealed itself on how he came back, I was like, wow, that's brilliant. I really like how they did that. So I got to give them some thumbs up right there. And one of the things that I loved about this film is, to me, in my opinion, in the first film, we got a lot of Wonder Woman, or a mix between Wonder Woman and Diana. But this film right here, we got more of Diana outside of the Wonder Woman superhero costume. And that's not a knock on the film, because I enjoyed every moment of it. If you would explain that to me before I saw the film, I think I would be disappointed. Like, wait, why are you doing that? I want to see Wonder Woman as much as possible kicking all types of ass. But after seeing the film, I thought it was pleasant, and it was a nice surprise. And it was something that I wouldn't think they would be able to pull off. And besides the action, because I am an action guy, I am really impressed with what they was able to do with the whole story and the plot of how they got to A to B from beginning to the end of the film. I love how the characters in this film were kind of like on some mystery adventure going around the world trying to solve some puzzle. I like that. I mean, one of my favorite films was The Goonies growing up, and I kind of got that vibe. I don't think everybody else can have that relation, but it does have that adventure vibe that, you know, you're just trying to figure out a puzzle, and it's like a race against time, and you're chasing a foe, kind of like, you know, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I really did enjoy that, and that was one of the highlights of the film for me. Now, as far as Kristen Wiig is concerned, I mean, I'm a casual fan of hers. I've enjoyed pretty much everything that she's been a part of, but I'm not like a diehard fan. And so I was a little bit skeptical on how she would portray Cheetah, because I like a badass villain in all of my films. And I'll just go ahead and say they did a great job there as well. I like the way her character evolved from the beginning to the end of the film. I thought it flowed very smoothly, and everything just worked out the way that it should have. Seeing her and all of her action scenes as she's going up against Diana, Wonder Woman, I was very impressed by that. I thought everything was choreographed pretty well. She just had a nice persona about her character overall. Even towards the very end, what you saw in the trailers, the CGI makeup that they used to actually make her the Cheetah, I thought they pulled it off very, very well. It wasn't absolutely perfect because, you know, of course you could tell it was CGI makeup, but I mean, they did a good enough job for me to be satisfied as a whole. As far as Pedro Pascal is concerned as the villain, Max Lord, I liked him a lot too. Now, I'm not gonna say that he's the villain of the year, you know, like Thanos in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, or Killmonger, who is more of an antagonist than the villain. But I mean, I liked his acting, okay? I won't even say that he's top 5 villains. He doesn't even come close to that, you know, and I can't say that I can relate to his character, but I can say that I did enjoy him on screen and I did understand his reasoning behind his sinister plot. Whether I agree with it or not, I mean, everybody has their reasons for doing things, and I saw his reason. It was greedy and it was, you know, a bit silly, but at the same time, you know, every villain can't be smart. I'm not calling him stupid, but I'll just say that I really did enjoy his performance on screen. I've never been like a big Pedro Pascal fan, and I'm not too familiar with all of his work. However, you know, I enjoyed him in The Mandalorian, and I really did enjoy his screen presence in Wonder Woman 1984. As far as Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, I remember when she was originally cast as Wonder Woman, I was very, very disappointed because I just did not think that she had that physicality to pull off the role, but she did what she had to do in the first Wonder Woman film, Batman v Superman Justice League, and she does it here again. I mean, I am really glad of the casting of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and you know, she kicks some butt. And just one of the things that I just like in general in real life, just besides movies, is a woman that's able to kick some ass. I think that's very nice. I think that's very sexy. I think it's a lot of things, and I love everything that she was able to accomplish, you know, within this role in this film. And when it comes to the action, like I said, I'm an action guy, and I want a lot of action in my superhero comic book movie adaptations, and there was not as much action in this film as the first film. You know, this was more of like a romantic drama with her relationship with Steve Trevor. But again, that's not a knock because I thought they did a great job, you know, have a little love story here as well. You know, but the action that they did put on screen, it was very, very nice. You know, that action scene where they had it in the desert as they're going down that narrow road and Wonder Woman is flipping in the air and, you know, using her lasso of truth and all that good stuff. I was smiling ear to ear. I was like, okay, I like the way they did this. I like the way it's choreographed. They really thought it through, and it felt practical, even though I know there was a lot of CGI elements in that as well. And they also knocked it out of the park, you know, with the White House scene and just the whole thing with the lasso of truth. I mean, the lasso of truth is a character on itself in this franchise, and the way she was just whipping it around throughout this whole movie from beginning to end, I thought was very, very creative. She was just doing new things that I never thought that she could do before, you know, with that lasso of truth. You know, I see all these comic book adaptations and I'm like, man, I want Iron Man suit, or I want Captain America's shield for vibranium, or I want this, I want that. But after seeing this film, I wouldn't mind having the lasso of truth, you know, just practicing with that. I mean, I don't know, I may go around and buy a jump rope and see if I can do some of the stuff that she was doing in this movie. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to swing on clouds or lightning bolts, but I can really mess some people up with a jump rope after seeing what she was able to do with this. You know, I was like, man, that's clean as hell. You know, I like that. I like it. I mean, that's just the feelings and emotions that I was having when I was watching this. So I got to give you two thumbs up right there for the lasso of truth. And then just going back to like Steve Trevor with Chris Pine, I like the way they flipped everything with his character and Wonder Woman from the first film and the second film. In the first film, Wonder Woman was a bit naive. You know, she was coming into a new world that she never knew before, and she was a fish out of water, and Steve Trevor was having to show her the ropes and just kind of explain to her how the world of man works. With this right here, Wonder Woman 1984, it was a complete 180 as far as the roles being switched, and Chris Pine was now a fish out of the water with Wonder Woman having to teach him. And by doing that, you saw how much Diana's role, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, has evolved from the first film and the previous other films in this cinematic universe. And I love her character and the humanity that came behind that. And just the overall, like I said, plot that I loved, and this sinister plan of Maxwell Lord as he was trying to achieve, I was like, wow, this is brilliant. I mean, I was watching this movie right here and I was like, okay, wow, this is clever. I like this. I like how this is folding out, and this is dangerous. I mean, Maxwell Lord is making a big mess right here, not just, you know, local city or state, but like around the world. He is causing a bunch of chaos. And I was kind of saying to myself, man, I mean, this is fake, this is fiction, you know, but I was saying to myself, wow, I really hope that his plan succeeds, because I'm just curious to see how things are going to play out. And then they're like foreshadowing the future and how things could play out, and also looking at the past history and stuff. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I mean, I want the good guy to win, but at the same time, I really do want the bad guy to win as well, just so I can see, you know, what happened. And I'm fulfilled in that. You know, it's kind of like the Mission Impossible franchise. One of the things that I like about that franchise is the good guy always wins, but they always have a flashback or some type of scene, dream sequence where it shows what it would be like if the bad guys won. And you kind of get a sense of that with Wonder Woman 1984. So that kind of does leave you satisfied. Also, kind of like Avengers Infinity War. Everybody saw that Thanos won. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be disappointed if he was like right there about to snap his fingers and then, you know, the good guys won. But they was able to tell the story to where the bad guy won at first, but then the good guy came and win, you know, at the end. Now, I'm not saying who won or lost in this movie right here, but again, we did a good taste of what it would look like if the bad guy won. And I really did appreciate them writing that into the story. Another aspect that I loved about Wonder Woman's character in this film is when it came to her physicality, she was weakened as far as her strength is concerned. And it actually presented more of a challenge to her in action scenes, which provided the film more stakes. And one of the last things that I really did like about this movie was just like the moral compass of this, and them talking about truth and how important that is. I won't get into any spoilery details, but you know, that is worth it if you want to see this film. The only thing I did not like in this film, and it's not anything that just bothered me to where, you know, it makes me want to just knock a bunch of points off, is, I mean, I could have used a bit more action, but at the same time, you know, I'm still happy with the way things turned out. Now, as far as like if I like Wonder Woman 1984 or the first Wonder Woman, I'll go ahead and say that I still like the first film more, but I did not walk away disappointed. You know, sometimes when I see a sequel, I'll be like, okay, it was good, but I like the first one better. Those emotions didn't come over me after I watched this film. I just kind of said to myself, okay, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I am satisfied. Like, I really am satisfied with the way this turned out, and I'm not disappointed at all. So if I had to rate Wonder Woman 1984 out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. But guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Do you like Wonder Woman 1984? Let me know down below. Or when did you like the first film? I really want to know. Let's have that conversation in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to reach 30,000 subscribers. That's my next new milestone, and I can only do that with your help. And guys, again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.